Making homemade ice cream is great in theory, but a lot of times you have, this big setup. It's a big hassle to make the ice cream, and you usually have a machine that just makes a lot more than you want, but this one solves those problems. Also, there's one thing that surprised me about this ice cream machine that I'll go over in a minute here. So let's go over the BLACK+DECKER ice cream machine. I'm gonna go over everything here. I'm gonna go over all the different functions of this. I'll go over a basic vanilla ice cream recipe where I mix in all the ingredients, as well as a chocolate agave sweetened ice cream, so you can see how to make those. And of course, we'll run them through this ice cream machine, and then also do a mix-in for the vanilla ice cream with banana and chocolate, and then go over the pros and cons and talk about who this ice cream machine is for. Okay, so let's go over what you get here. You of course get the ice cream machine. And with the ice cream machine, very simple. If we look on the front here, we have our different options for light ice cream, normal ice cream, sorbet, milkshake, yogurt, gelato, our mix-in, and respin. So you get a lot with this. You can create all sorts of great treats with this. And just go over quickly, we'll go over an actual demo, but the mix-in, that's where you're gonna mix in your own ingredients, such as candy, fruit, anything like that. And then the respin has to be used if your ice cream doesn't come out as smooth and creamy as you would like. You can just put it through in the respin option. Okay, and then what else you get with your purchase? You get 3 of these pint-sized ice cream containers here. So it comes with its own lid. You can see it's a pint here. A pint is 2 cups. And then we have the actual outer container that has the mixer. So we see we have this container, it's locked in. We can just move it to the right of the handle, lift it up. And then we have our blade here. It's a magnetic blade. We can just pull on out. So really simple. And then we have our outer bowl, which will add in our inner bowl. And you get 3 of these with your purchase. The other 2 are in the freezer, as they do have our ice cream. And so all of these are dishwasher safe as well, so it's really nice. And if we just have a look at the machine here, it's not that big of a machine. It's around 19 pounds. So it is a little heavy. It's not gonna take up a ton of space on your counter. And also the color is nice, so it fits in with many different colors in your kitchen. Okay, before we go over a demo of me making the actual ice cream and mixing it together, just a few things about this. You cannot use non-fat milk without any sugar in this machine. It won't work, it could break, so just keep that in mind. Also, you'll want to follow the recipes that they have so you can get a better understanding of what you want to mix in here to make the best possible ice cream. That doesn't mean you have to follow them specifically, but just try the ones that are included just so you can get an idea for what to include and what are the quantities. And you do get a QR code with your purchase. You can just scan it and it has a bunch of recipes on there. Okay, so let's go over mixing together the ingredients and then freeze them. Okay, so we're ready to mix together the ice cream. So we're just gonna go with the vanilla here, and then we're gonna do a mix-in after we make the ice cream. So just your standard vanilla ice cream. We have whole milk, whipping cream, sugar, and vanilla. Okay, and the recipe for this. So with your purchase, you get a little card that has a QR code, and then you can just scan that QR code with your phone's camera. And then there's just a bunch of recipes from ice cream to gelato, to milkshakes, to yogurt ice cream. There's really just a lot of ice cream you can make. Okay, first, 2/3 cup of heavy whipping cream. So we broke our little measuring cups, so we're just gonna use these. It's 1/3 of a cup, so we'll add 2 of them. Okay, and then we have 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Okay, and then finally we have 2½ tablespoons of the vanilla paste here. Okay, so that's 1, 2, okay, and 1/2. Okay, then all we have to do is mix this on in until the sugar dissolves and then put it in our little container, and that's it. So let's go ahead and mix this. Okay, then we'll pour it in the container. Okay, and just put the lid on. And this is ready to go in the freezer. So now we'll make another ice cream. Okay, so now we're gonna make a lighter chocolate ice cream. So we're gonna go ahead and mix this in the bowl, and then we're gonna go ahead and heat it up. So you can always just mix it in the pan. So we're just gonna mix it here. So we have our oat milk here, 1/2 cup. Okay, and then we have our 1/2 and 1/2. Then we're gonna go ahead and add in 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Okay, and then to sweeten it up, we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of agave syrup. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then whisk it together. Okay, now we go ahead and put it in the pan. Okay, so we're gonna gently bring it to a boil and stir it while it's coming to a boil. So we're gonna have this at around a medium-high heat, because again, we don't wanna just jack it up to high. We wanna gently bring it to a boil. Okay, so we came to a boil here. Just give it one more stir. You go ahead and turn this off. It's not gonna take very long. It took just a couple minutes. And we're just gonna let this cool, and then we're gonna put it in the container and then freeze it. Okay, so it's cooled down now, and we're gonna put it in the container here. All right, then just put the lid on. And we're good to go. And when you put it in the freezer, make sure that is on a flat surface. You don't want it tilted or on its side. Okay, so we'll leave it in the freezer for 24 hours, and we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll make some ice cream. The moment we have been waiting for, let's make the ice cream. So we'll start with making the vanilla ice cream and then do the mix-in of chocolate and banana. So we'll go ahead and take off the top here. Then we have our bowl and lid. Go ahead and put in our inner bowl. Okay, so it fits in just like that. It'll be nice and snug. And then we'll put the lid on. Okay, and then twist to lock. We'll go ahead and open the ice cream machine. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and turn on the ice cream machine. Just go ahead and hold it. It'll make a noise, and it'll light up. Then we'll add this on in. Okay, so it fits in like that, and then we move it onto the side, and it'll click in. Close it on up. And then we will press the ice cream button. And then it'll start. Okay, so our ice cream is ready. So that took around 3 minutes, so really quick. Of course, the freezing, of the ice cream, 24 hours, but the actual making of it, really quick. One thing to note, it is really loud, this machine, but again, really quick, only 3 minutes, and you have ice cream made. Okay, let's go ahead and take it out. Unlock it, pull it on out, take off the lid. Then let's have a look at this ice cream. Here we go, look at that, looks really good. So now we're gonna do our mix-in. So we'll just put this back in here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is add a little hole in the center here and then put in our ingredients. So this is a little bit softer. Okay, we'll go ahead and push that into the middle a little bit more. So depending on your freezer settings, you might need to make your freezer a little bit cooler. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and put the lid back on. Put it back in. Lock it into place, close, and then do the mix-in. Okay, so that took around 1 minute, so a little bit shorter than the actual making of the ice cream. Okay, grab it, unlock it. Let's have a look at this. So your hard candies are gonna stay more intact. So let's just have a look at the texture here. So our freezer could have been a little bit cooler, but it's still good texture for ice cream. It's kind of more like a milkshakey type texture. We can always just freeze this some more. Okay, now the taste test. Oh yeah, that was good. Banana, chocolate, vanilla ice cream, excellent. Definitely worth the wait. Need some more. Oh, banana's amazing. It's creamy, smooth. Get all the vanilla bean in there. Yeah, this is excellent. Absolutely excellent. Okay, so now let's make the second ice cream, the chocolate one. Okay, and now the chocolate ice cream. You know the routine. Take the lid off. Throw it on in. Put on the lid. Lock it into place. Open the machine. Lock it in the machine. So go ahead and press the light ice cream button, and we're good to go. Okay, so that was another 3 minutes. Really the same amount of loudness for this thing with the light ice cream too. Take off the lid and let's have a look at this. All right, this one's a little bit thicker. Have a look at the texture here. Okay, then of course the taste test. Oh yeah, that is really good. The agave in here is really nice. That is really nice. So yeah, the texture for some reason came out a little bit better on this one. The agave, it goes really well with the chocolate, the agave. It's sweetened nicely. Wow, that really is good. I can't tell which one I like better. I mean, it's chocolate and vanilla. But yeah, both of these are really good. Okay, so the pros and cons of this thing. So, pro, it makes amazing ice cream. The recipes that they give you are great. So those two worked really well. It's, you know, only 3 minutes to make once you have it frozen. You can add in basically anything you want. You can make so many different types of ice creams, the sorbet, milkshake, yogurt ice cream, gelato. So you really can just make a ton of stuff. That's what's great about this. So if you're more health conscious, you can, you know, have ice cream, you know, that doesn't have as much fat or as much sugar. Also, I like the pint size. You know, some ice cream machines just give you these massive, you know, containers to make them in, and it's just a little bit too much. You also get 3 of them, which is nice. So you can have load up 3 at once in the freezer. And the machine, it's not too big, so it just fits on your counter easily. It's a nice design, nice color as well. Okay, so the cons of this thing. So of course you do have to actually make the ice cream and let it freeze for 24 hours. You could of course buy like vanilla ice cream or just any type of ice cream and then do a mix-in, but if you want to make it from scratch, it does take 24 hours and that's a little annoying. Also, this thing, as you heard, is pretty loud, so that's one thing just to keep in mind. Also, it would be nice if they just had all the recipes in the actual booklet that they give you. You have to go through the QR code and go online to get it. It'd just be nice if they had more recipes. There's only 3 in here. Okay, so a few things here just to keep in mind. So specifically with your mix-ins, you cannot have any nut butters, any syrups, or fresh fruit. You wanna have frozen fruit, of course, and your sauces, you wanna have those hardened shell sauces. Those are the ones that you can use with the mix-in. So you can add in, you know, butters. Nut butters is another thing that you don't wanna have in your mix-in. It's just not gonna mix that well. But you can do that when you're actually making the ice cream and freezing it. So that'll have to be added in the first process. Just keep that in mind. Don't wanna have that in the mix-in. Wanna have your harder ingredients, frozen fruit, in the mix-in. Another thing to note is you'll wanna have these in the back of your freezer. So if in the front of your freezer, they don't get cold enough. As you saw, the vanilla ice cream didn't get quite as cold. The chocolate ice cream works a little bit better here, a little more solid. And yeah, just something to note. But if it's like a milkshake consistency or it's not as hard as you want, you can just put it back in the freezer and then use the respin option. So that's another thing, even if it is hard enough or frozen enough, when you're putting it in the machine and you do the ice cream the first time and it's just not the consistency that you want, you can just use the respin option as well. Okay, so who is this for? Well, of course, anyone who wants ice cream and for someone who wants full control over what they put in their ice cream. That's the great thing about this. You can put in whatever you want. You can also, of course, just have bases and just do mix-ins if you want to also. Just have vanilla ice cream, your favorite vanilla ice cream, and just have your own mix-ins. Once you have your base, then it's just 3 minutes, really quick. Tastes delicious. Always have these in your freezer. There's 3 of them, so you can have 3 flavors. And really, it's always good to have an ice cream maker at your home. Who doesn't love ice cream? So in my opinion, the Black & Decker ice cream machine is definitely worth checking out.